I'm Miss Hannah with the Wixom Public Library, and today I am going to show you our craft kit for unicorn felt sewing. Looks like this, super cute. It is a little more difficult than some of the crafts that we've been doing in the past, so feel free to watch this video as many times as you want before attempting the craft. Get yourself comfortable with what's going on, and then jump right in. Super cute. So what is in your bag is one supply list, and what is taped into your bag is one sewing needle. It's not that sharp, but it's sharp enough to pierce the felt, so be a little bit careful, and it's taped inside your bag. You're going to have one bunch of embroidery thread. It's going to be enough for the craft, I promise. You're going to have a bunch of felt pieces, some white ones and some colored ones. We'll get into that in a minute. You're also going to have a bag of stuffing. Don't worry, it is going to be totally enough stuffing for the craft. What's not in your bag that you're going to need scissors. You're going to need maybe a black marker, maybe a pink marker. So feel free to contact us if there's nothing, or if anything isn't in your bag that should be in your bag, and tag us on social media, Wixom Library DIY. We would love to see the wonderful crafts that you're making, or feel free to email us with a picture. All right, let's get started. So we are going to explain a couple of stitches, and we're going to watch this over and over again before we attempt if you are very uncomfortable with sewing. But I promise, as soon as you get the hang of it, it's gonna be great. You're gonna thread your needle with some of the white embroidery thread. And what we're going to do first is we're going to put the horn and mane onto the back piece of our unicorn, all right? So how that's going to work is you're gonna pick up your horn, put it where you want it, generally towards the front, and we're going to start sewing. So I'm going to insert my needle through the back of the thread, bring it up through both pieces, and I'm gonna leave a little bit of a tail. And I'm gonna put it back through our thread, or back through our felt, my bad. And we're going to make a knot. So on the back, we're gonna go through all of them like that. Bring it through, but not all the way. We have this loop. We're gonna put our needle through the loop and create a knot. And this will start us fairly well off so that we can do our first stitch, which is the running stitch. And that looks like this right here on this part, and all the way around our unicorn at the end. So we're gonna do the running stitch. So the needle is in the back. We wanna bring it to the front. We're gonna put it a little bit over like that. And back through the thread, or back through the felt. Now I'm going to pick up my second piece that I need, which is this purple one. You can do them in any order that you want. I'm just going to do the purple next. And when I bring my needle back through the felt, I'm going to pierce both the horn and this purple piece to kind of bind them a little bit together. And then we're gonna go back. So this is a pretty simple stitch. You can also, with the embroidery needle, if you want to practice, you can practice using like a couple pieces of paper. It's gonna pierce the paper pretty easily, especially if you have tissue paper. Oh my goodness, that'll definitely work. I'm gonna pick up the next piece, and I'm gonna bring it through both the light purple and then the dark purple behind to go through to the back. And if your stitches aren't even, that's no big deal. As long as, you know, it holds. I'm going to scoop up some of the felt with our thread, like that. We're going to pull it through, but not completely all the way. So with this loop, we're going to loop our needle through it and then pull, and that will make a knot. And then you can just snip that off. Ta-da! Now for the face part, I used a Sharpie in order to draw my eye. So I'm just going to do that now. We're just going to make it a little swoop and give our unicorn a couple eyelashes. And then using a pink marker, I gave our unicorn some blush. Because happy unicorn with blush. So after that, then I, with our needle and thread again, started to stitch on the pieces. So the nose part, I'm going to show you how to do what's called a whip stitch. So after we put our needle through the two fabrics, two pieces of felt, we're going to do that again. And instead of going all the way, we're going to scoop and make our knot. And then the whip stitch is going through both pieces of fabric, but not going back and forth necessarily like the running stitch, but from the outside. So you'll continuously use whichever hand you're using to kind of whip it. So you'll go through the two and go back, and then you'll bring it to the back again and bring it through the front. And you'll just do that all the way around. And on my sample, I didn't do that. I did the running stitch. So if you're more comfortable with the running stitch, you can totally do that for basically all the parts if you want. But here you have two new stitches that you can do. And do that. And then I'm going to bring it, we're going to do a whip stitch, and that's how we're going to tie it off. Ta-da! Now for the ear, since there's a couple pieces there, we're going to hold these two pieces together for the ear, and we're going to stitch it on. Actually, I'm going to get a longer piece of thread just in case. We're going to put our needle through here like that to make our knot in the back. And we're going to do exactly that again. Now we're only going through just the back horse part, not through the ear itself. And then we're going to loop it through to make our knot. Then we're going to turn it back over and bring it through all three pieces. I think I will do the running stitch for this part. I think that will be good. And on my sample I did the whip stitch, but it doesn't matter. Whatever you are most comfortable with. Felt sewing is very forgiving. We will gather up some of the backing with our needle. Oh, I'll do it over here. Pull it almost all the way through, but not quite, and loop it through to make a knot, and then tie it off. And then the other thing you're going to want to do with the ear is you're going to want to tack it off. So we don't want it to be all loosey-goosey like this. So we're going to bring our needle through both of them, the pink and the white. Bring it almost all the way through, but not quite. Leave a tail. And then we're gonna bring it through just the white. And then we're just gonna make a simple knot without using the needle really. Because it's just gonna tack on nicely. You can do a double knot, but I'm going to just leave it like that. All right, and there we have this part and this part, and now we are going to work on our tail. Okay, so now we're going to do our tail piece. So you're going to layer the pink and then the green and then the purple on top of the white piece of felt. It should cover up most of the white felt, and layering it like this will kind of give it a nice flow. So we put our knot in there, and then we're just going to whip stitch around, and you're gonna really have to hold these pieces together so they don't move about too much. You're also gonna want to put way more thread on your needle than I did, but I have a piece that's already finished right here. So you're just gonna go all the way around, and then your tail will be done. So now we're gonna put all of these together. You're going to put the top of your unicorn on top of, well, the back. And we'll set this aside for now, but it will go right here. So you'll take your needle and thread and start going around. I started right here, and you'll go all the way around, and you'll stop right here for the tail. You're just gonna do, you can do the whip stitch around the nose, and then the running stitch around the rest of the unicorn. So it'll look like this. So I started here and went all the way around. And now we're gonna add the tail with the running stitch. So you have to hold your tail in place, just like that. Whoop, let me get my needle situated. We're gonna go back up through and back. So we're gonna just put on our tail, and then we're going to go all the way around the back leg, and then we're going to stop because we need to add our stuffing. All right, so now you have a pretty big pocket within which to put your stuffing. So I already have one here. You're just gonna take the stuffing and push it all the way down with your finger, fill it up as much as you want, but know that if you fill it up a little too much, it's gonna be harder to sew up the rest of it. So I put a moderate amount of stuffing in, and we're just gonna hold it tight and sew up the rest of our unicorn. Maybe 2 more stitches, and then make a knot, and he'll be done. So I'm gonna go and just do 1 knot through the loop, just like that. Grab my scissors, and he's done.